Hey, and what's up? I am Kiara the Woman, and welcome to my podcast. I, of course, first want to express my deepest appreciations for you all being here at the very beginning of this journey with me. And even if you joined in a little later from whatever episode you're on currently, the fact that you started over and you're listening to this and starting from the beginning and listening up, I think is dope too. So I appreciate that, and of course I just wanted to say thank you first. So this is the trailer, and this is the episode that is going to give you the basis of this podcast, let you know what we're going to be talking about on here, so that way you can decide if you're going to be a part of the gang or not. So let's get into it. The entire name of the podcast is A Single Mother Success Podcast inspired by Romans 5:19. This is a womanhood podcast, and Romans 5:19 is in the title because I am a spiritual person. The one of the bases of this podcast is definitely spirituality, so we will be getting into the spiritual side of things. I just want to put that out there in the beginning, so that way y'all listeners can know how we moving, so you can decide if you want to move with us or move without us or move out the way. I'm just putting everything out there and letting everybody decide. So just for clarity, Romans 5:19 says, as for one man's disobedience, many were made sinners. So also by one man's obedience, many will be made righteous. Needless to say, after reading that scripture, this podcast was birthed strictly and solely out of obedience. I am an extroverted person. I'm not shy. I'm not bashful or anything like that. I just never thought that I'd have a podcast, but God did. Word to DJ Khaled. Moving on. So I do want to break down the title just a little bit, because I don't want people thinking that this pod is only for a certain type of woman, because it has the word single in it. The word single in this podcast is defined by these words: one individual mother raising her kid or kids on her own, one individual mother married or in a relationship or even divorced, and one individual woman, period. We will be shedding a light on all of those women and their journeys, different trials and tribulations that they had to encounter on their journeys to success. This pod will showcase life as a single mother and the perseverance it takes to achieve success. And so I'm going to pause real quick before I move forward. I am a person of understanding, and I want to be clear and transparent in regards to everything I mean when I speak on this platform, and any others for that matter, of course, but we talking about this one right now. So with that being said, I do want to define the word success when you're listening to this pod. So success on this podcast is defined by this: the steady progression towards personal goals defined by self versus someone else's goals defined for self. So what I mean by that is success is determined by the personal goals you set for yourself as a woman, as a human being, as just yourself, period. These are goals that you have defined for yourself and you've set for yourself. We're not defining success by someone else's goals or society's goals that they've set for you as a woman, or for you at the age of 28, or for you at the age of 21, or for you as a person, a human being in general. We're not defining success by that. So I just wanted to make that clear, and now that that's clear, and because I am a woman first before I became a mother, we will also showcase the life of a single woman in the same light. I'll be discussing all things self-love for sure, generally all things personal development, real life situations, career and business, because I do work a regular job, but I'm also an entrepreneur. I also own businesses, so we'll be discussing that part as well. We'll be discussing culture change. I'm not really too big on discussing the culture the way it is, because me personally, I think that our community, again with the clarity, when I say our community, my people, I mean Black people, African American people, brown people, Pan-African people, the real Jews, however you identify yourself as a brown person who may be or is a descendant from slavery, so in whatever country, just that's what I mean when I say my people and my community, just so that's clear. And I only be talking about us. Clarity. So we will be talking about culture change, and I do think that in our community, in my community, we do need a change, a shift in mindset. We need to recreate our paradigms. So those will be things that will be discussed on this podcast. And I'll also be discussing perseverance, the perseverance it takes through being the end of your family's generational curse. I'm sure, well, I've encountered and I've come across, and I know there are other people who are out there that realize the generational curses within your family, and you're like, yeah, this is gonna stop with me. So if that's you, we are going to be discussing that. This pod is for you, and all those other things that I mentioned. If you take interest in any of those topics, this pod is definitely for you, and I'm happy to have you here. We will get real with each other. We'll get deep. We'll get real deep in the worlds that are parallel to each other, physical and spiritual. So like I said at the beginning, spiritual base, but we are gonna look at the the physical realm and the flesh realm of things in a parallel sense. So yeah, the only disclaimer that I have for you guys is that I am not a coach. You don't need another coach. Word to Trip Fontaine. I am a part of that movement. You don't need another coach. So I am not a coach. I'm not a guru. I'm not a specialist. I'm not a therapist. I'm not no psychic. I'm not none of that. Okay. So I am really just a woman who's had her fair share of life. And I'm really just being a demonstration of God's love for you. I'm demonstrating what it means to harness your divine power, the divine power that's within you, that you have inside of you. I am here as a demonstration to show you what it looks like when you harness that, and you focus on that, you give your attention to that. I'm here to let you know you are not your mistakes, because I've made so many, and I refuse to let them define me. Regardless of where you are, where you've been, or where you're going, you can overcome anything, and you can recreate and redefine yourself as many times as you would freaking like to. I'm just sharing my experience with y'all. That's it. That's all. I am excited to be sharing my thoughts and opinions with y'all, and interacting with y'all in the comments on the Facebook group. There is going to be a Facebook group that you all will be able to join. This is definitely a family affair. a safe space, I was about to say safe place and safe space at the same time. So that's what that sounds like. Anyways, so this is a safe space. There we go. For all of my subscribers, any hate or blatant negativity will be like blocked and removed from this pod. So don't be a hater, don't be negative, because why would you want to miss out on all of the joys, gems, and jewels that you're gonna get from the situations that are gonna be happening on this pod? You don't. So don't be a hater. Outside of that, you all, of course, can find us here on Anchor, Spotify. We'll be getting on Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts a little later. Follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our weekly newsletter, Real Success Through Perseverance, Letters of Legacy. All of these links, of course, will be provided in the description below. And once again, thank you for tuning in. Let's catch up the next episode, and I will see y'all there.